Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of the security event today, celebrating and promoting our nation's female and non-binary cybersecurity trailblazers. I'd like to thank Secure Diversity and Lookout for hosting today's event and highlighting the crucial role that women play in cybersecurity. Across the field, women continue to make their mark, including at the agency where I have the honor of serving as the Assistant Director for Stakeholder Engagement, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA for short. If you're not familiar with CISA, we're one of the newest agencies in the federal government, and it's our mission to protect the nation's critical infrastructure from both the physical and cyber threats. Through this mission, it is our responsibility to protect the functions of government and the private sector that are so vital to the United States that their disruption, corruption, or dysfunction would have a debilitating effect on security, national economic security, or national public health or safety. These critical services include the water that we drink, the electricity that lights our home, and the gas that we get at the fuel pump. For physical hazards, CISA works across the sectors to conduct and facilitate vulnerability and consequent assessments to help our partners understand and address risks to critical infrastructure. On the emergency communications side, CISA is the national focal point for ensuring the national security and emergency responder communications are up and running. And then finally, on the cybersecurity side, we focus on the most significant threat actors. Gaining visibility and taking action against these threat actors requires daily collaboration with our partners in industry, the intelligence community, and the law enforcement community. When it comes to our protection efforts, we are fully aware that we can't ensure critical infrastructure resilience on our own. With the private sector owning and operating a majority of our nation's critical infrastructure, resilience requires collaboration and committed action from each and every one of us. To put it more simply, partnerships are our strength and our adversaries' disadvantage. But really, what does this mean? Admittedly, the phrase public-private partnership has become a bit of a buzzword in recent years. But our goal at CISA is to transform plain old public-private partnership into something that is active, valuable, and impactful. And this is how I define operational collaboration. Operational collaboration is the movement from information sharing to information enabling, the active exchange of data in real time that can be actioned in order to improve security, where the government is transparent and responsive, and not a black box where you don't need a PhD in government studies to understand how to interact with the federal cybersecurity ecosystem. That is why Congress built CISA to be America's cyber defense agency. That front door for the private sector to work with before, during, and after incidents to help build the resilience and security of our nation as part of a collective cyber defense. Only by deepening our partnerships are we able to share information broadly about threats and vulnerabilities, enable early warning, and prevent other victims from getting attacked. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is the value in collaborating with CISA? First, together we protect America by providing a holistic view of the threat landscape. CISA receives a rich cache of data from across the federal government that we analyze and synthesize, creating actionable guidance and products. Working with us and sharing information helps to paint a clearer picture so we can spot suspicious activity and act quickly. Next, in an environment where the cyber incidents are increasing by the day, CISA can help elevate visibility of vulnerabilities and the actions necessary to mitigate threats. Much of what we see during an incident response is anonymized and shared broadly to enable us to prevent similar attacks on other organizations, as well as help organizations minimize negative impacts on their businesses. Essentially, sharing information across the ecosystem to raise the collective cybersecurity baseline and shore up our defenses. Finally, we are uniquely positioned to bring together stakeholders from across the intelligence community, law enforcement, the defense community, federal government agencies, our state, local, tribal, and territorial governments, the private sector, international partners, and the public to enhance the cyber threat information sharing to stop cyber incidents before they occur and to quickly recover when they do occur. We've made tremendous progress in these efforts over the past year, as there has been a more focused and robust collaboration between the public and private sector in responding to the recent and urgent cybersecurity threats. While this collaboration has been great, we also recognize that we can't rest where we are today. The threat landscape changes quickly, and industry is often seeing vulnerabilities or breaches first, which is why it's imperative for all of us to work together to mitigate these threats. As we work to deepen operational collaboration with our industry partners, now is more than ever, we also need you. Having a strong and diverse workforce allows us to build a resilient cyber ecosystem. And throughout history, women have been instrumental in the progression of cybersecurity and information technology. From the 10,000 code girls who were employed by the federal government to decipher encrypted messages during World War II, to Ada Lovelace, to Grace Hopper, whose achievements in computer program advanced the industry. While we reflect on the impact women have made throughout the history of tech, we also must build on their progress and the limitless potential of our nation's current female trailblazers and next generation pioneers. There is often a preconceived notion that cybersecurity is a male-dominated field. And this statement might have rung true in recent history, but cybersecurity is a field that is growing for women. And one of the priorities for me and the leadership at my agency is to inspire more women and girls to pursue careers in cybersecurity and technology. It's also imperative that as a community, we continue to build each other up and create culture that promotes women into positions of importance. And this especially remains true at CISA, where we have and continue to promote women into leadership positions. Many of our top leaders at our agency include our CISA director, who is a female, our chief of staff, myself, and others on our leadership team as well. And it's truly inspiring to see this change. In this same spirit, we're leaning forward to support a diverse and inclusive cybersecurity workforce for all in a number of ways. For example, last fall, we announced an amazing partnership with Girls Who Code with the intent of closing the gender gap in cybersecurity. Partnering with Girls Who Code will provide real solutions to tackle diversity disparities and bring together a stronger community of women in tech and cyber. We'll also work to heighten the awareness of these careers while building tangible pathways to get hands-on experience and find opportunities, whether in the private sector, nonprofit sector, or part of the government. This past year, CISA also joined forces with cyber.org and the Girl Scouts. And being a former Girl Scout, it was great to see this partnership to create a cyber awareness challenge. Through the challenge, girls across the country were given direct access to fun activities that will strengthen their skills and interests in cybersecurity. The goal is to get students thinking about careers in cybersecurity early, just like if they wanted to become a doctor, a teacher, or a musician. More simply put, tomorrow's cybersecurity professionals are sitting in today's classrooms. K through 12 is the pipeline of the future. We need to start early in their exposure on cybersecurity. And inspiring younger generations of girls to consider a career in cyber is imperative, because today, women only make up 24% of the cybersecurity field, despite the fact that women make up 51% of our global population. Because of this considerable gap, last month, our director, Jen Easterly, set out a bold goal of increasing the percentage of women in cybersecurity to 50% by the year 2030. Because without more women in the field, we know we are missing out on incredible talent. Beyond our work to close the gender workforce gap, we're also increasing diversity by engaging in initiatives to work with historically Black colleges and universities and blind and visually impaired students, as well as exploring a pilot program to bring neurodiverse individuals into our staff at CISA. We also need to continue to drive the message that you don't need to be a tech expert to be a part of the cybersecurity workforce. Many of the best cybersecurity professionals come from non-technical backgrounds. I myself come from a non-technical background, and it wasn't until I joined CISA in 2019 that I learned more of the technical aspects of cybersecurity that I now apply to my stakeholder engagement role. The lesson is something our hiring managers at CISA live by. We are not only looking for candidates that demonstrate technical capabilities, but also candidates who excel in the softer skills, such as effective communication, creativity, and the ability to work well in teams. These are all traits that we need. If you have one of these traits, I encourage you to consider a job at CISA. A job at CISA means that you're working at the forefront of cybersecurity challenges facing our nation. It sounds like the kind of place for you. If this sounds like the kind of place for you, then we would love for you to join our team. And you can check out some of our opportunities at cisa.gov/careers. There's nothing our CISA team is incapable of doing, and there is no adversary they have been unable to figure out. But our team is just not big enough, and we need to further build our team as we continue to increase our capabilities. We offer a diverse set of career prospects, from ethical hackers who are engaged in penetration testing or red team attacks to malware analysts who study functionality and potential origins of malware samples. And we also have jobs in cybersecurity policy. And on my side of the house, we have careers where you are charged with coordinating engagements and partnerships across industry and with international partners to support the agency's efforts to reduce the national risk. At CISA, a job at CISA means that you will be working side by side with partners in law enforcement, top tier researchers, and major private sector companies and our international partners. And we also recognize that this is not a static employment environment where you get a job with a government agency and work for that agency for the rest of your career. We understand that individuals will be moving back and forth between government and private sector, and I firmly believe that the shared experience is good for the public and private sector and the nation as a whole. And for all of the students in the room, you don't have to wait until graduating before joining our team. I encourage you to join us as interns. Our interns don't just sit behind a desk. As a CISA cyber intern, you will grow your skills and enhance your career potentials as you work closely with cyber professionals on mission-focused projects while learning in a fast-paced, technology-evolving environment. I guarantee you'll have a variety of robust and rich experiences, such as exposure to cybersecurity activities outside of your immediate assignments, hearing program officials discuss major CISA and DHS initiatives to keep our nation's system secure, and meeting intern alumni who are now employers with CISA. You can also tour our labs, participate in informal brown bags with senior management, and attend exciting local conferences and forums to hear from other experts and newsmakers in other executive agencies, with Congress, industry, and academia, and think tanks about some of the most important cybersecurity efforts in safeguarding against threats to our nation. You can learn more about our intern opportunities by going to cisa.gov/cyber-interns. I'll say that one more time. So it's cisa.gov/cyber-interns. And I also encourage you to follow CISA on social media. Our director is on Twitter at CISAGen. She's very active. But I also encourage you to check out CISA's Facebook page, our other Twitter accounts, but then also LinkedIn and Instagram. On LinkedIn, we will post a lot of opportunities, career opportunities at CISA and announcements. And it's a great way, if you're interested in joining our agency, to hear about these new opportunities firsthand. So to wrap it up, at the end of the day, it's all about you here today, the people, not the technology, who have driven the cybersecurity field forward. Our agency director, Jen Easterly, recognizes this too. So we haven't spent a significant amount of time directly engaged with our workforce to co-create a culture of values and principles that we define and we expect from each and everyone that inspire us. These principles that we have established are themes that include trust, collaboration, empathy, imagination, inclusion, empowerment, ownership, and resilience, and a fundamental recognition that no asset is more important to any organization than our people. Regardless of where in the world that organization is located, it's what makes us different. We're building a culture at CISA that recognizes that attracting and retaining world-class talent requires creating an environment of psychological safety where people can be their authentic selves, where they can feel cared for, supported, empowered, and always treated with dignity and respect. In a culture that recognizes the importance of not just welcoming diversity, but truly celebrating it, neurodiversity, diversity of gender identity, ethnicity, sexual orientation, age, background, equals diversity of thought, and that makes us better problem solvers. It's why we are proud to be one of the first agencies in the federal government to give our staff the option of identifying their pronouns as part of their email address. It's a very small but very meaningful and impactful signal of the importance of embracing acceptance. It's a culture at CISA that recognizes that some teammates can be just as effective and in some cases more effective working from home than sitting in a cubicle at an office that requires a long commute. This is why we offer remote opportunities for many of our positions at CISA. It's a culture that recognizes that pandemic fatigue and burnout are all very well, and that this is why at CISA we've made 2022 the year of mental health, because mental health is health. And it's why we've made Headspace mindfulness app available to every employee at CISA for free. CISA has a culture that recognizes that feedback is a gift. We're one of the first federal agencies to implement 360 feedback for every employee to incentivize teamwork and leadership. It's a culture that recognizes that we can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, but must continuously learn from events and incidents. It's a culture that recognizes that trust is the foundation of any real relationship. And that is why we established recently a joint cyber defense collaborative to achieve true operational collaboration with industry underpinned by transparency and responsiveness. By building trust, it requires emotional intelligence as well, and it requires us to show vulnerability. You know, it's really interesting to me that things that we value in people-oriented teams, trust, vulnerability, emotional intelligence, authenticity, are not the things we embrace as technologists, which are vulnerabilities are bad. Zero trust is the standard for technical architecture. Artificial intelligence is the key to malware detection. You can't just be authentic, you have to be multi-authentic. And as we look ahead, we must ensure our culture and our cybersecurity workforce reflects the diversity of America, because diversity of gender, ethnicity, education, sexual orientation, neurodiversity, all of that translates into diversity of thought and enables better problem solving. Whether you join our team directly or indirectly by partnering with us, I send my sincere gratitude to all of you, our nation's current female cybersecurity pioneers and the next generation of trailblazers. Thank you again for inviting me here today for such a wonderful event, and happy to take any questions that you might have at this time. And I'm following along in the chat, so if you want to drop anything in the chat, happy to answer questions from the chat as well. All right, thanks for. All right, so from Lisa, so thank you for coming today. For those that are already working, what's the best way to get involved with CISA? So I would say first, start by following us on social media. There's a lot of opportunities that we post there so that you can figure out, based on potentially your current job, how you can better connect with us. But then also, if you are interested in coming over, seeing opportunities to come over. So I think social media, if you follow CISA Jen on Twitter, it's a great opportunity. But then also LinkedIn has some job opportunities listed there. I have a question to join CISA. Do you have to be a citizen? Our jobs at CISA are for U.S. citizens. However, we work very closely with the international community and especially with industry. So there is a lot of work we do on the international side. Are you working with any tribal colleges? From Rebecca. At this time, I'm not aware at the national level of any tribal colleges that we are working at, but CISA has a field force of about 500 to 600 staff spread out across the country. So I imagine some of them do work with some of the tribal colleges. Out of DHS headquarters, we have a tribal advisor to the secretary, and I know David Monroe works very closely with some of the national level associations that represent tribal colleges and universities. And I apologize if I missed any questions that were earlier up in the chat, so feel free to throw them back in if you'd like. Let's see, from Christina, are there positions in email security that don't require one to be in DC? I've seen posts, but they always seem to require a PhD. So a new thing for CISA is, especially after the past couple of years in this COVID environment, we have learned that you don't need to be present here in the DC area to do your job. So for example, I've just approved about 67% of my workforce to work remotely. And when I need them to come to DC, if they're not already located in the DC area, then I can ask them to come in. So CISA right now is going through this exercise. So there are a lot of positions that are now available for remote opportunity as well. I just saw one pop in. Does CISA have a hiring preference for military spouses? Yes, there is hiring preferences for military spouses. That is a hiring authority that we use. There are a lot of veteran and military hiring events that CISA does participate in. So I would say if you are a spouse, to definitely look into that. Feel free to reach out to CISA for additional questions on that one. Are any internship positions remote, and when do they get posted on USA Jobs? So intern positions are posted on USA Jobs under the term pathways. This is for the entire US government. So would highly recommend that when you go to USA Jobs that you look at the pathways, or you type in pathways, and you'll be able to see those intern opportunities. They get posted. I don't have the timeline for when those intern positions do get posted. But again, if you follow us on LinkedIn, we will definitely highlight when those opportunities come up. I saw another one. Do you hire non-citizens? We do not. Are there any positions that don't require a secret or top secret clearance? There are some positions that don't require it. Actually, as I have been approving my my workforce for remote work, if their position doesn't require a secret or top secret clearance, that's even better for me. It's very helpful. You would still go through a background investigation. There's absolutely no age ceiling for working at CISA. So please apply. We have a ton of opportunity and very excited to have everyone join our workforce. I'm looking for a cybersecurity job now. Anyone ready to hire me? I have some certs. Thank you. Another thing I want to highlight is CISA does have a new hiring authority on the cyber side. It's called the Cyber Talent Management System. So it does allow us to hire much quicker individuals that do have a technical background. So that is a new hiring authority that CISA has that we're starting to exercise. Are any of your positions fully remote? Yes, we do have a ton of positions that are fully remote. And a lot of the positions that are going to start being posted on USA Jobs moving forward will definitely highlight those opportunities as well. So I think and agree with Michelle, there is no age ceiling because that would be discrimination. So I think I hit quite a few of them. And I'm not sure how much more time we have, so I don't want to take up too much time into the next speaker. I'm just going back through to see if there were any potential positions I missed. So Rand asked a question, if a job is located in Virginia, it can be available via remote as well. What's the turnaround time for hiring? So turnaround time for hiring does take a little bit of time. Unfortunately, it is the government hiring process. When the position is posted, it will identify if that position is remote eligible or if it has a very specific location. So be sure on USA Jobs to see what that posting is from a location perspective. Does CISA have any CT related positions? So on the critical infrastructure side, we have a physical security mission space. So we have an Office of Bombing Prevention. We have a hometown security effort. So we work very closely with critical infrastructure to ensure that their physical infrastructure is protected. So think about major sports leagues. We work with a lot of them, major venues, to ensure that the physical infrastructure is protected. So again, that goes more to that CT related mission space that we have. Would you hire someone for soft skills? Absolutely. There are all types of positions available at CISA. It's not just a technical background. I don't personally have a technical background. I am on the partnership side, so definitely much more on the softer skill side. So yes, we need all types of backgrounds and expertise. Are there part-time positions and or second or third shift off hours? There are. So CISA has a 24/7 operations center. So that is on shift work that we have. I wouldn't say that there are as many part-time positions versus full-time, definitely more full-time, but we do have what is called CISA Central, and that is our 24/7 watch center. So there are opportunities for second or third shift work there. Is high functioning autism not seen as a disadvantage at CISA or cybersecurity? It's not. Neurodiversity is something that our director is talking about a lot now. As a mom of an autistic child, it's very exciting to see and work at an agency that is very accepting of neurodiversity, and just the opportunity that my son will have, knowing that this conversation is happening within the workforce right now. So important. It's a gift and an opportunity to bring individuals with diverse thought and way of thinking and approaching challenges. And so we welcome that. What about continuing education if hired by CISA? Yes, we have a lot of opportunities for continuing education, from traditional colleges and university work to certificate work to other opportunities. I went through a certificate program at American University for leadership. We have a lot of leadership programs out of Harvard that our staff apply for, National Defense University, and then also Naval Postgraduate School as well. Let's see. Feel free to come to the Google Expo booth. That's great. What are some of the technical and management skills CISA is looking for? So it's across the board. So from a management perspective, your basic program management skills, I'm looking for that quite a bit. I have a lot of programs that I run, so I need a program manager. I can teach them the cyber side of it. On the technical side, we have a chief information officer, we have a chief technology officer, we have a chief information security officer. And then on this other parts of the cyber side, we have hunt teams, we have vulnerability management teams. So on the technical side, it is a wide range of skill sets that we are looking for. How can you go about finding a mentor? I'm not sure if this is specific to CISA or just larger in general. I'm actually doing a flash mentoring event later today at CISA. And one thing I always highlight to anyone that I'm talking to from a mentor perspective is to ensure, again, to what we're talking about here, is that you have a diverse set of mentors that you're working with, making sure that you continue to network and build that pool of individuals, because everyone's going to come at it from their background and their experiences. So make sure, as you do find those various mentors, that you are finding individuals with diverse backgrounds from each other, so that you can get different thought as you are presenting challenges or questions that you have towards them. Thank you, Mary, for the feedback. All right. Oh, and thank you, Kelly. I think she is saying we have to switch to our next keynote now. So thank you all very much. I'll do remote. I think that's it for the questions, but thank you very much. It was truly an honor, and this was like speed dating on the questions. So I hope I got to as many as possible. If there are any additional questions, Kelly, please feel free to have them sent over to me. I'd be happy to address them and get those back to you. So truly appreciate this opportunity and enjoy the rest of the program today.